0 to 60 can define a performance car, but it's the fastest 60 to 0 that's the aim of Tarok's brakes. From road cars to race cars, circuits, special stages, or the autostrada, nothing reduces speed like Tarok's brakes. Italy gave the world the art of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Tarok's has given drivers the art of stopping. For more information and to acquire your own masterpiece, visit tarox.co.uk. Yes, it's me, Mike Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast. It's the fastest, it's the friendliest, and it's for all the family. The Gas Shocks 116 Trophy and 120 Coupe Cup are the fastest growing race series in the UK, taking in 6 one-hour races and 8 sprints at all the top circuits. Visit 116trophy.com to find out more and get yourself behind the wheel. From a pot of tea to TT motorbikes. From a classic English breakfast to a full serving of classic cars. Bridge House Tea Rooms is the Northwest premier classic car meeting location for cars, bikes, tractors and owners clubs. So no matter what your automotive appetite might be, visit Bridge House Farm Tea Rooms on their Facebook page or call John and Alicia on 07980 444 221 for show details and to reserve your own table and parking space. A few weeks ago, you may remember I had co-driver Charlie Woodward on the show, and I said he would be back with his driver. I think when Charlie was co-driving for this said man, it was probably rallying's greatest double act. Malcolm Graham, affectionately known as Gob, for the simple reason Graham's Old Bang, which is the registration number on his famous Taylor Brothers Datsun rally cars. Charlie and Malcolm, welcome to the Backseat Driver.
Thanks very much.
Welcome, and glad to be back again.
Now, before we go any further, Malcolm has asked me to allow him to explain why, as we very irreverently put it, he sounds like a Dalek. So, do tell everybody, Malcolm, why, I mean, joking aside, why your voice now sounds as it is.
Well, it sounds like this as a result of cancer of the vocal cords, which I contracted 10 years ago, and it was said that it was just a grain of sand and a quick laser treatment on it would cure the problem in a jiffy. Well, it didn't, so I had 4 goes at that, and then it was pronounced it has to be the big one, a full laryngectomy, which they said were life-changing, and it certainly is. Where normal people get a bit of mucus, they blow the nose. I don't. I have to blow my neck, which looks a bit odd to some people, and I also breathe through my neck. So, my nose is absolutely useless, apart from decorative purposes, because I can't smell anything post-operation, and my mouth is just for swallowing food that I can very rarely taste. So, day to day, breathing through your neck isn't a major problem for me. Nobody had to teach me. It happened, and I just did it. The operation itself, I was cut from ear to ear. 14 hours of a job, intensive care for 2 days, hospital for 2 weeks. I lost 4 stone. I didn't feel very well, but now I'm absolutely immaculate. I do all sorts of things at home. Jean has a bad knee at the minute, so I'm having to brew up I'm having to do dishwashers. Put washing in, I don't know how to start it yet, but I've actually filled it up. And apart from that, everything's normal. So when you've been a singer, which I have, and an after-dinner speaker, losing your voice is about as bad as it gets, until you see other people that have had strokes, and it isn't a bad one to have, and I'm still here to complain. Not that I ever do, but if the opportunity comes, believe me, I'll complain.
The upside of it is, compared to before it happened, folk can now get a word in edgeways with you, can't they?
Well, that's what Charlie says. It's now easy to interrupt me.
Because we always used to say, given how you could talk, I think Charlie often wondered whether you were listening to him or not.
Oh, I was. How dare you say that?
Now, you were renowned for your rallying. As I said, you were one of rallying's great characters. Now, we've been having a little glance at your scrapbook, and you started way back when in a highly unlikely rally car, a Triumph Herald Cooper, back in the 1961.
Yes, which my mother bought for me to stop me from going in local pubs. So what he did, helped me to go into them farther away. And the first time I'd heard about rallying was when my dad bought me a subscription to the Motor magazine when I was 15, and I used to read it cover to cover every week. And the cars that interested me most were things like Triumph TR3s, Big Austin Heelys, Old Travel Stained, Adventure, and I thought, when I'm a big lad, that's gonna be me. So we had a baker's shop, and every Saturday morning, if I were taking my bread from the bakehouse into the shop, I noticed this Austin Cambridge with 3 U spotlights on the front.
Full rally conversion.
Oh yes, no gaps. And a sign in the back window saying Spring Hill Car Club Accrington. So I plugged up curries to this man who we called Jack Whittaker, and he used to buy a loaf, 6 muffins and a cream sponge every single Saturday morning. And I said, "Is that a rally car, mister?" And he said, "It is." He said, "And I'm in Spring Hill Car Club, and there's a rally on tomorrow." Well, it's a treasure hunt, actually. Well, I ignored that bit. I said, "So, how do I join?" He said, "Well, you go to this address. You pay 17 and 6. The event starts tomorrow on Broadway Car Park at 11 o'clock. Go and do it." So I did. My dad let me go straight away. And then my mum says, "Well, what are you gonna wear?" I said, "Well, when I look at my heroes, Morley twins, John Springsel, they've always got a very smart sports jacket, a check shirt, and a cravat, and cavalry twills." She said, "We're going to Greenwood's together." Oh, and we picked a pair of brown brogues up from Freeman Hardy and Willis on way home. So we must have looked the part, me and my wife Jean. I was 18, she was 17, and we looked the part and they seated us at number 1. So she says, "Look at this." He says, "Turn left at traffic lights, straight down Crater Wood to Whalley, turn left at lights." I said, "I know it." And I was that nervous. Marshall that was setting us off complained, saying I nearly run over his foot twice. But my foot were quivering on clutch. All of a sudden it's time to go, we're off. Luckily lights were on green. Back end came round. Wheels on Triumph Herald were wagging from side to side. And we're off. We're going down. Past Great Harwood turn off, police car, sat in a lay-by, a Ford Zephyr. He warned me, I said, he'll know I'm on a rally. And I got that bit wrong, and he did me. And that was my first speeding fine, 17 and 6, and a conditional discharge for 12 months. So we hadn't a clue where to go after that. So we set off round Whalley and Clitheroe, looking for mud, so that I could spatter my car with mud, to look like I'd done a proper rally. And when we got back to this cafe in Tisburn, everybody said, everybody's car's clean, where have you been? I said, we thought them clues were up some farm tracks, and we never got a clue. So the next rally was a night rally, and Jean was the secretary at E.J. Riley's, who made snooker tables. And everywhere they had a snooker table, anywhere in the country, they put pins exactly where they were. So Jean said, when we plot route, I'll put pins in. Green ones for start, and red ones for the stop. I said, good plan. Well, it looked lovely, with all these different pins. And it was immaculate until we got to the first corner. So, Triumph Herald were up on two wheels, Jean sat on my knee, mat boards on floor, all pins are in a disarray, halfway down a tie, so it were a mess. So we had to give up with that one, but happily we kept going. Made a load of new friends, and he's been fantastic ever since.
I mean, like from the Herald we went on to the usual minis, everybody rallied minis, then Ford Capris with the famous dents in the front wings.
From Barleybank, yes.
Because you made a note on the side of the car where the dents had come from, haven't you?
I have.
Well, I mean, you progressed very well. I mean, you were a good rally driver.
Thanks very much.
I've nobody told you that before.
No. I think they thought it, but they never actually said it.
Well, as time went on, you went through a few co-drivers. Did they leave voluntarily, or did you get shut of them?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting one. Who do I upset most? Well, I did. I was doing a forum for, I think, Kirby Lonsdale Motor Club, and a man called Dave Orrick was on, who was very, should we say, very well known. A bit of a troublemaker in some parts. And he said, why don't you and me do a rally? I said, well, I don't want to upset my current navigator. There was a lad called Jeff Whittaker he'd shot me up the table from sort of 20 odds finishes into top 5. And he said, no, go with him, he's a professional. So I went to pick him up in my black 3-litre Capri, and he sat in and he said, hellfire, Mark, is all these hours? And I said, it is.
I mean, before we carry on, what inspired you to go for a Ford Capri? I mean, they have been used in rallies, and they did the World Cup rallies, but in many ways they were a slightly unusual choice.
It was, well, what actually happened, we were doing things the wrong way around.
Well, you were doing a Ford Capri.
Well, we had a minor 1,000 traveller to do the round in, and a new Capris 1600 to go rallying in, and it didn't seem right. So we got a new Cortina estate in place of Capri, and then a Mark 1 Escort of one of our club members, and it was very fast but so unreliable. It finished up where gearbox actually fell out of the chassis, and I couldn't even get hold of gear knob. I had to tie a piece of wire round the whole car to hold gear believer up to get second gear to come home. So I said, I don't want that. Let's go for something powerful that's standard. So Ian Harrison from Speed Space found us a 3-litre Capri, which was actually the show car from Ford Motor Company in the Geneva Motor Show 1972, and it was absolutely beautiful. So we bought it, took it to Harry Ratcliffe at GRV, who put a 007 cam in, sorted carb out, and said that'll do you. And it went from about 143 bhp to 148 at the wheels, and that was fast enough. And everybody said, you'll have to take a bag of potatoes in boot to hold it down. I said, what the hell for? And they said, because your back end will be out everywhere. Well, it wasn't. An old man at Rosendale Road Springs sorted my suspension out. A limited slip div, Bilsteins all round, and it felt like a go-kart. And we're not sure, but Dave Orrick has always said that he thought that we were the first winners in a 3-litre Capri of any rally anywhere in the world.
Right. So, I mean, it's like I said, they did do various events, and they were decent rally cars. It was just an unusual type of car to go for, shall we say, technically 4-seater, but ostensibly 2-seater, powerful coupe, a car a car better suited to circuit than to stage.
Yeah, and you're probably right, but when they're fully sorted, they're as nimble as anything.
Yeah.
But it was getting a bit hard to compete properly with the really top lads. And then we had a bit of an awful night fell. And I'll swear to this day that Dave shouted out, flat, which stuck with me, get right. And we finished up in a tree we'd gone straight on. I don't mean in a tree, I mean on a tree. And the car's rocking, bike wheels are on road, but it won't move. And Dave said, how the hell do we get out? I said, hey, you should know. You said when you started navigating for me, if you were ever in a situation, leave it up to me. I'll sort it out. I said, well, we're in one. And he said, yeah, as soon as I can get rid of this branch next to my left ear, that come through windscreen. So we climbed out very steadily. Stop there, he says. He set off up road. Must have been well after 1 o'clock in the morning. With a little torch, he came back within half an hour with a farmer and a 4-wheel drive tractor. And he pulled us safely out of this tree. And I said, Dave, this car's gonna have to go. So I were on my baker's round one day, passing Taylor Brothers, and there with this yellow 160J Triple S with a bit of rust round the edges. And I said, that'll make a good rally car. So I went in to sit past my mate Dave, And he said it's 1,300 quid. But if you put our name downside of your car, we'll only charge you $12.99 for it. I said, well, that'll do for me. Any discount's good. And that's how I started with Taylor's.
I was going to say Taylor's were then the local Datsun dealer. And the one thing about that, I mean, I'll let you tell this story. What does Datsun mean? Of course, Datsuns were manufactured by the Nissan Motor Company, but they dropped the Datsun bit after a while.
They did. Datsun actually means little rabbit. Nobody actually knows why, but it is. And it was a difficult time to begin with, because I was looked upon as some sort of traitor, because everybody had watched Bridge Over the River Kwai and what they did to main actor, so nobody were in love with Japanese people. So I had to learn a few facts to spread the word that they're not as bad as you think. And I found out through Dave Taylor they paid monies, big sums of monies, like 10 million a year, to BMC that made Austins that they'd made under licence since 1927. They paid 8 million to Lucas for their electric expertise. Don't lot with the
surprising, given Joe Lucas was always affectionately known as the Prince of Darkness.
Quite right. They paid 10 million to McCain's for the frozen chips. There were all sorts going on.
Well, the thing was, back then, Datsun and Toyotas and things like that were looked upon as a bit of a joke, really, weren't they? I mean, there were these tinny little Japanese cars that were no competition to the British cars or the European cars. They were just tinny little cheap cars that nobody would have thought of rallying. And in many ways, you were like at the forefront of, shall we say, promoting Japanese cars and Datsuns as being damn good cars and competition-winning cars.
Yeah, that was all mainly due to the responsibility that the Datsun had given to Andy Dawson to run Team Datsun Europe. And he actually rang me up, Andy, and said, what are you doing with this 160J? I said, well, I've got a limited slip diff in, I've got mini lights, I've got spotlights and a roll cage. Bring it down to me and I'll sort it out. Well, I've never been as excited in my life. So we went down and left it at Milton.
You were at Bletchley then?
Bletchley.
By the way, that voice was Charlie Woodward, who still continues not to get a word in edgeways with Malcolm Graham. You will hear from him, I promise you.
And it looked really good, sat next to all the factory cars that had build sheets on windscreen, gearboxes at the side of them, engines, back axles, and mine were in them. So I said, how long will it be? He said, come for it, a week on Sunday. I said, right, how much should I bring with me? So he said, oh, don't worry about that, we'll sort it out on the day.
That's generally a worrying phrase, isn't it?
It is. So Jean, give me the checkbook and say whatever it is, just give it him. But I had a brainwave when he said, well, his wife, Vicky, said, right, Malcolm, that'll be £535. I said, how much? $535. Oh, I said, right, is it all right if I give you 5 checks for a week apart? She said, of course it is. So I made the first one out, 135 quids, and then £400 thereafter. Week after that, She rung up and said a bit of a problem with the jet, Malcolm. Oh, I said, no. Are we in trouble? Not really. She said, I think you were that excited. You made it out to Malcolm Graham and signed it Andy Dawson, which is actually wrong. Oh, I said, hellfire. So Jean sent him another, but the car, what a difference, the sound of it. The way it handled, it had all work suspension on, this all revel, it was fantastic. And we never looked back after that. Just got better and better, didn't it?
What championships were you doing at the time?
I was useless at championships. At the beginning of a year, me and Charlie had said, right, we're doing ANCC. Or we're doing SD30, and we're doing one. But not in a championship. How do you not do Kevin Savage's January trophy?
Yeah.
So you have to do that one. And then it were Rosker. How can we not do that when Dave's done all that work? Dave Irwin into all. And before the championship started, we probably done 8 rallies. In fact, one year in that Datsun, we did 36 events, and we had 36 second places.
We did.
And that takes some doing. But why not that win? We've no idea. We've never known. But once you've won one, it seems to get easy after that. Well, it's never easy. But good fun trying.
How did Charlie come to be sat next to you? Because as I said earlier on, like, did your other co-drivers make a run for it, or what? But, I mean, when did Charlie come to sit alongside you?
I think when he got fed up with Dave Leach.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Because you've been co-driving for a while. I've told you I'd get Charlie to get a word in edgeways.
I've been co-driving for a few years. Started off with for Enza Burt, as I said last time I was here, and then I did a couple with Dave Leach, and then with his brother Graham, and then I obviously in Spring Hill Car Club, and Malk said, "What you doing next Saturday night?" I said, "Well, I don't know."
Why are you asking me out?
I thought, hey mate, I have my looks in here, and you know. Anyway,
Handsome devil that he is.
Yeah. Anyway, he said, "No, you're doing." I can't remember what event it was. It might have been Clitheronian. You're doing Clitheronian with me. Am I? Right. Okay. I better go and get some maps then. And that was the start of it, really, weren't it? And yeah.
And then it went a bit beyond that, because he weren't just my navigator and my mate, he was the whole family's friend. And our Shelley and Karen still love him to this day.
But what car did you? What was the first car you co-drove, Malcolm, in?
A big black 3-litre Capri.
All right, so you got the pleasure of riding around in that.
Yeah, it was a wonderful car because you could have a great big accident and it never actually got to you.
Yeah.
It was very good also at eating head gaskets.
Yeah.
And we'd gone to do a Riponian, I think it was, one year. And we'd done the first selective, and Malk says, "Temperature's up, it's really high." I said, well, that's because we've been doing.
Yeah.
He says, "But there's a lot of smoke coming out the exhaust." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, that's because it's like condensation, because it's cold outside."
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't
Did
get...
he believe you?
Well, he did, but we didn't get to the next selective.
So, I mean, in many ways, after that, you became like a permanent team, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
I mean, just chart us through, because after the yellow Datsun 160, I mean, things moved on, didn't they? You were virtually driving works cars.
We were. the second Datsun we got was actually bought for us by tailors.
By the way, for anyone who's wondering, Taylor Brothers were the Datsun dealers in Accrington at the corner of Queen's Road and Burnley Road.
Correct, yeah.
Yes, they decided to go that route because BMC franchise that they had before, the workforce were always on strike. Cars were ordered and they couldn't provide them.
Yeah.
So they started on a complete new venture, which was very brave.
Well, it's like we were saying earlier on, Japanese cars, especially Datsuns, were looked upon as a bit of a joke, weren't they?
Yeah, but they had all stuff in them, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything came as standard on them. What was an
Yeah.
extra in a British car was standard fit
That's
on a
right,
Datsun.
yeah.
You got a heater and inside door handles and things like that.
Radio, you got a little
Wireless.
AM, little AM radio, long wave, medium wave radio.
Yeah, the only problem was that the tailor said that they would look after it and service it before every rally. The service manager didn't agree. And I said, I brought car in, we're doing a rally on Saturday. Can you just give it a spanner check? And he said, no, he said, I've got the actual service manual in front. And it's every 12 months, 12,000 miles, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
You've only done 500 miles, so take it away and put some more miles on.
Come back in 11 months.
Or I'll see you. So I said, Eric, I'll see you. So that was the end of their servicing, so it were all down to us.
Yeah.
But whatever it needed, Andy Dawson were always there to help us out. And I can remember one time, I can't remember what it was, but the bill was 1,200 and odd quid.
Which was serious money back
It
then.
was serious money. And I said, would you like pound notes or a cheque or a banker's draft? He said, pound notes will be all right. When will it be ready? Wednesday afternoon as usual, you're half day. So we went down with a big carrier bag.
Full of pound notes.
Full of pound notes.
Yeah.
And he says, do they not have 5s and 10s up north?
Well, he said he wanted pound notes.
So he got
There
pound
they
notes.
are.
Good job you're not paying in pound coins, you'd never carried them over.
Bloody hell. But he always said, how are you doing for tyres?
Yeah.
We're getting a bit down, Andy. Right, try these. And we sometimes had to go to Alford's in next little village and buy a roof rag to put them all on.
Yeah.
And that was one of the sets were very interesting because it said on them they were intermediate racers, and it said for racing purposes only. Well, they were banned for road rallying. So I rung Andy up and said they won't do. He said, let me work on a little thing and I'll let you know. 2 days later, through post came a note, no paper-headed message in Japanese and an interpretation underneath. And it said, these tyres may say racing purposes only, but it's only for mechanics' benefit that know to put them on tarmac stages rather than gravel. So I thought, can we get away with that? I said, what does it actually say, Andy? It actually says, we've just developed 4 new gearboxes and we'll be sending you, and they'll be there within a week. So he said, just show it to scrutiny.
Let's see if he speaks Japanese.
So we showed him this interpretation, and he never about an alley, did it?
No.
Right, we've now come to the end of part 1 of the Malcolm Graham Show. But we shall definitely be back next Sunday. So, for the time being, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on Backseat Driver.
Thank you for asking us.
Thank you.
Rarely beaten on price, never beaten on service. Whether it's cars, bikes or commercials, Hodder Tyres are the best in the business. And when it comes to tyre expertise and advice to supplying the correct tyres for your vehicle's specific requirements, nobody comes close to David Lakin and the Hodder Tyres team. So give them a call on 01200 613 192 or visit the website at hoddertyres.co.uk.